सर्वेभ्यः नमस्काराः। अस्माकं शिवानन्दलहरी आवल्यां सर्वेभ्यः स्वागतम्। अत्र 70 श्लोकात् चर्चाम् आरभामहे. We will start from the 70th shloka. So far, Shivananda Lahariyam, we have seen what bhakti is, how Shiva, and again, here Shiva represents that supreme goal of our lives, that ultimate goal which all creatures, not only humans, but all creatures and all living and non living beings themselves try to migrate towards. So that is Shiva. That is not merely a anthropomorphic uh, description of that Godhead, or you could call it the Paratattva, which, of course, for the sake of communication amongst humans, the rishis and the siddhas have given it a form which is itself embedded with so much meaning. A lot of uh, iconography has gone into the shape and form and names of Shiva itself, of that Paratattva itself. Here, the Shivananda Lahari is a Shaivite text. It's talking about sometimes the Saguna meaning that which has a form and name and has some characteristics. That is called the Saguna, which is basically what we are very familiar with as being Shiva, the Shiva Linga, the Shiva Puja, Shivaratri, and all such. That is also quite often talked about. And more importantly, sometimes the discussion goes off on a tangent pointing towards the abstract nature of God itself. And also, many a times we see human to human interactions and the psychology between humans and the psychology of spirituality itself also being represented in this text. And this and Saundarya Lahari are two very poetic texts. They heavily rely on using poetry, therefore, also literary tools such as similes, figures of speech, and playing on words, all such tricks. For what purpose? Because these are meant to be kavyas. These are meant to be stotra kavyas. These are kavyas, these are pieces of literature in the sense that they are describing a particular deity, they're eulogizing a certain deity, devata, but still making it very attractive and pleasable, and not just saying you are this, you are that, namaskara to you, to this form, to that form, etc. It is not only the main goal of a kavya. The kavya's intent is to collect the mind from all the different organs it is currently invested in, pull it back to its source, that is, pull it to a particular point of focus, in this case, the kavya itself, and then with such an absorbed mind, which is such a collected, self possessed mind, send it off on a rocket to that Paratattva. So that is the uh, intention. So, keeping in line with it being a kavya, the Shivananda Lahari has so far talked about the Mahatmya, the greatness of Shiva in many different forms and ways. In the most recent shloka, which is the 69th, the bhakta, that is the poet here, which is Adi Shankaracharya, is like a very frustrated bhakta, as a frustrated lover who would also get angry at the beloved for not replying back, who would expect the beloved to also reply and reciprocate and requite one's love. If it is not done, it is very natural for the lover to feel dejected, to feel hopeless, to feel self doubts, to feel if what he or she is doing is truly enough. And in such a state of desperation, in such a state of despair, so is this bhakta here who is complaining to Shiva that you, O Shiva, will only wear things, animals, and organisms which are cruel, which are tainted, such as the moon, which is tainted, which is blemished. You will keep a deer in your hand, which is the Pashu. You will wear the skin of a dead elephant, which is Jada. And you will keep poisonous, toxic serpents, venomous serpents around your neck, and which are very cruel. These are the Kutilachara. But I, who am bereft of all these qualities of being not animalistic, not blemished, unblemished, who is active, who is not jada, who does not have any cunning ways like the path of a snake. If I, who am bereft of all such bad qualities itself, am not getting you to respond to me, then the only conclusion I must draw is that I should start becoming one of these bad things. Maybe then at least you will start taking notice of me. Such as the right cry of the heart of the bhakta here. Let's move ahead. अरहसि रहसि स्वतन्त्रबुद्ध्या वरिवसितुं सुलभः प्रसन्नमूर्तिः अगणितफलदायकः प्रभुर्मे जगदधिको हृदि राजशेखरोऽस्ति अरहसि रहसि स्वतंत्र बुद्ध्या वरिवसितुम सुलभः प्रसन्न मूर्ति. Now here is Shiva, who is the prasanna murti, who is prasanna murti, meaning what? Who is easily, who has a very pleasing countenance, who has a very pleasing body, prasanna murti, who is pleased. Saha varivasitum sulabhaha. He is easily approachable, easy to get, easily obtainable. Varivasitum, to say, to do seva of him, to love him, to be in touch with him is very sulabha. How? Kena prakarena swatantra buddhya, by a buddhi which is swatantra. Shiva does not demand a very cultist devotion towards him. Other gods may, but he does not care if he is not a narcissist, you know. He does not care if you keep praising him or if you worship his feet with water and then drink the water. All such externalities he doesn't care for. Now, here we're talking about Shiva as a male form, so which is why I'm using the pronouns he, him, etc. Of course, the supreme tattva in its nirguna state has no gender or form. Anyway, coming back, Swatantra Buddhya. So, Shiva demands the Buddhi itself to be very independent. He does not like subservient, servitudinal devotion towards him. He wants a Buddhi which is Swatantra, which can think for itself, which can argue, which can uh, counter argue and challenge him or her. You see, Shiva did not go to Vishnu or Brahma to give them boons, but he went to or to any other apsaras, though they were very enchanting and they were praising Shiva all the while. Shiva came to Parvati, who was ready to challenge him in his own tapasya and in fact beat him in his tapasya, and that in fact pleased him to no bounds. And he himself went to check on Parvati many a times. So that is once he is conquered by a Swatantra Buddhi, a bhakti which is born from a Swatantra Buddhi, he is very easy to be conquered. Sulabha varivasitum prasanna murtihi arahasi rahasi. Arahasi athava rahasi. So a buddhi which is in rahasi also swatantra. Arahasi also swatantra is one meaning we can derive. What does rahasi mean? Rahas means in secrecy, in privacy. While in private company, that is of oneself, in company of oneself, with oneself, also it must be swatantra, meaning one must be stable minded and independent minded even within oneself, meaning one's buddhi should not be a slave to the manas or the indriyas, as well as arahasi. Arahasi means outside, not in privacy, meaning in a social setting, in a mm, amongst people. When there's a bhakta amongst other people, a bhakta or a yogini amongst other people, also he or she should show swatantrata, as well as in the confines of her own room. So in such a case, Shiva Prasanna Murti Sulabha cha Saha Aganita Phaladayakaha Prabhurbhavati. Then he will become Aganita Phaladayakaha. He will bestow upon such a person any which boon. Asankhya Phaladayakaha. Aganita, there is no count to it. Prabhu, such as the Lord, me mama jagad adhikaha hridi rajashekharah asti. Mama hridi, in my heart, rajashekharah jagad adhikaha asti. In my heart, that is in the bhaktas or the yogini's heart, Shiva is supreme. He is the Lord who is the Rajashekharah. He is greater than the kings. So in today's jargon, in lingo, we should say Raja would be the politicians, because politicians are people of great power. They decide and pivot the future of a particular piece of land and its people. So he is the Raja Shekhara, he is the king of all kings, and Jagad Adhikaha. He is beyond the world. He is my world, and he is beyond this mortal world too. Any comments? Is this how you view this shloka? Any other inputs? Much appreciated. Comments. आरूढ़ भक्ति गुण कुंचित भाव चाप युक्त शिव स्मरण बाण गणैरमोघैः निर्जित्य किल्बिष रिपून् विजयी सुधीन्द्रः सानन्दमावहति सुस्थिर राजलक्ष्मी सा आनंद सुधीन्द्रः सा आनंदम सुस्थिर राजलक्ष्मीम आवहति. Let's break this down. आरूढ़ भक्ति गुण कुंचित भाव चाप युक्तैः शिव स्मरण बाण गणैः अमोघैः किल्बिष रिपून् निर्जित्य सुधीन्द्रः विजयी स आनंदम susthira raja lakshmi avahati. So here is an imagery of a warrior. So in those times and in that era, it was very common for a prince to challenge other prince of other states, such as in a Swayamvara, beat them all down, and if the princess also consents, if the princess also likes this person, if she is impressed by this person's valor, then the prince is allowed to take her back to his kingdom to get married. So this was the pratha in those times. He is using that very same social custom, but giving it a spiritual meaning by spiritual tone by saying, Arudha bhakti guna kunchita bhava chapa yukta. Chapa is the bow. Chapa is the bow. Guna is the rope which is tied to the bow. Arudha bhakti guna. So he takes the bow, this prince who is the Sudhindraha, who is the best amongst all well-minded, good-minded bhaktas, Sudhi Indraha, one who has a very sound and steady intellect. You could call it Sthita Prajna. Sudhindraha, again, though in by default in Samskrita they use the Pullinga, it can be, it just means it's a placeholder for any human or any soul which has a steady mind, which could be a male or a female, doesn't matter. So Sudhindraha he or she will put the bhakti itself as the guna. The guna means here the rope, the string rather. The string of the bow, it becomes the bhakti. Kunchita bhava chapa yuktaihi. And the chapa is kunchita bhava. Kunchita means to reduce oneself is to make kunchita. We say in Kannada sankocha markumbedi. Sankocha means to limit yourself, to not express yourself fully. That is sankocha. A similar meaning is kunchita. Here, kunchita means the soul or the person who is meditating upon Shiva, the bhakta, as is very common in love, he or she will self efface willingly. They lovingly they will self efface, just as even parents do that, right? The parents will not even consider their own struggles. They will not count their own pains or distresses for the sake of their children, because their children is their god in a certain sense. Similarly, for the lover, the beloved is everything. So everything that is theirs, everything that is in their boundary, they'll try to erase it off by doing complete samarpana to, again, it is not the beloved who is demanding it. So there is no toxic relationship between the Ishvara and Jiva here. It is one, it is the Jiva, the lover himself or herself willingly giving themselves up for a higher cause. So that is called kunchita bhava. To erase oneself, self effacement is kunchita bhava. That itself becomes the bow, right? So love becomes the string, bowstring, whereas self effacement becomes the bow. Shiva Smarana Bana. And what is the Bana? The Bana is Shiva Smarana. Remembering here, Smarana doesn't literally mean just once in a while thinking of Shiva. It is Shiva Smarana, Satatam Smaranameva. Continuously thinking about Shiva, regularly thinking of Shiva itself is the dhyana itself is the Bana. Ganaihi Amoghaihi. And this is not just one Bana. It's not just one time you do a Smarana and you're done. No. You keep a quiver of all these arrows of Shiva Dhyana and release them all. Amoghaihi, which are unwavering. Amogha. Mogha is to not meet its target. Amogha means that which does not ever not meet its target, meaning that which always is successful. Amoghaihi. Kilbisha Ripun Nirjitya. So what is it? What are these arrows used for? To kill and to destroy. Kilbisha Ripun. All the toxicities, all the bad qualities within ourselves. These are the kilbisha. These are the dirt within us. Ripu. These are the ripus who are being killed by these arrows. Nirjitya. Vijayi. So now this Sudhindra is Vijayi. He or she is successful. Sanandam. So happily, Sa Anandam. Susthira Raja Lakshmi. So what is the who is the maiden here who is coming, who is being taken with her consent away? It is Raja Lakshmi. It is the Lakshmi, the wealth of Rajya itself, of power and of uh, power, combat, abundance, and regality. So, royalty, all of that is Raja Lakshmi. Eva, she herself, this personification of wealth itself is the maiden who is being taken with her consent away by this Sudhindra. Overall meaning, the person who does dhyana of Shiva by self-effacement and by bhakti, using Shiva Smarana to destroy one's own bad qualities. So it's actually not even the word bad is in English and the you could say a British morality, Victorian morality. Here, Kilbisha, never in Sanskrit do we use the words good or bad. We just say that which is useful and that which is not. Kilbisha means waste. It literally means waste. That which is not useful to us. Because in on any journey towards a certain goal, there will always be things. We start off with so many things. like a trekker going to Himalayas. So as and when a particular thing's use is over, you drop it away because it will make you lighter, so that you can travel quicker and quicker and edge closer and closer to your destination quicker. Similarly, these are the ways which are thrown away on the path. They are good. They may be good at a certain point of life, but finally they may become burdens only. So they have to drop them off. So these are waste. Kilbisha means waste. Similarly, kalmasha, impurities means something which is dirt, which is waste. See, our dirt may be food for worms and other organisms. That is true. But what we mean here is to our cause, to our journey, what is not needed, all the we say unnecessary negativity, right? Even in our popular spiritual lingo. So all the unnecessary fights, unnecessary quarrels, unnecessary overthinking, unnecessary running behind people's validation, all of this is verily our kilpishas. It is not merely just the kama, krodha, lobha, moha. Those are the fundamental ones. But they in our lives are expressed in a multitude of things which we waste our time, energy, effort on. There could also be actually people who we waste ourselves on, right? When they are not reciprocating back and they are actually leeching away from our energy. So these are the kilbishas who we must destroy. How? We are not going to kill them. We are going to bring our mind back to focus of Shiva, of the Paratattva. If one likes to do an abstract worship of that goal, great enough. If one likes to do a Saguna worship, that is allowed too. Any questions?
I personally would say this is nothing but self-realization, sort of like whether it is Shiva is your goal or not Shiva,
Mm,
not Shiva. It's self-realization, knowing that sometimes you think, oh, you have got a circle of friends and you belong to a group, but unfortunately, there could be one bad nut amongst a packet of nuts, which is going to ruin the whole thing.
mm,
So once you realize that it's a bad nut, sometimes you'll have to leave the whole group or just isolate that bad nut and just move on with your life. And you don't have to worry about trying to sort of make the bad nut into a good nut
mm,
or a bad person into good. So walk away from the situation. And once you're able to sort of control your thoughts and things like that, you are going to be at peace with yourself.
mm.
And I think that is the ultimate goal rather than Shiva could be anybody, anything. But if you say Shiva is Aham Brahmasmi and say so, that is pleasing yourself and reaching your own intellect and self realization. I
Correct.
think that that may be the meaning. That's what I think.
Wonderful.
And also,
Adbhuta.
is it the same word which is used for impotence?
For what?
Kilbi Kilbi is the word for impotence.
Oh,
Oh,
that is Kleba.
Kilbi
Kleba.
is
No, yeah, that is
okay.
Kleba.
Yeah.
Kleba. Yeah. Oh, really wonderful.
At the end of the day, you came to the world alone. You're going to walk alone, and you're going to walk away from this world.
Mm,
So self-realization and stuff, and rest of the things are just passerbys who come into your life, and you move on. You don't cling on to anything.
absolutely. Satyam. Adbhutam.
Yeah. Anyway,
New. Arundhati Arye, would you like to contribute any insights or what you feel about all these verses?
Nothing much. Whatever ma'am said was just right to the point, I felt.
Mm,
Just move on with leaving all the negativities and whatever troubles us. With all those troubles, maybe we will not reach our goal.
Satyam. Mm,
That's what I felt. It was very apt.
um,
thank
Dhanyawad.
you.
Dhanyawad.
So sometimes you can analyze and then you can resolve the, and sometimes it's not even worth analyzing. You know that it is going to be a hopeless case. just walk away from it. In Kannada, um, we have got a saying, it's just don't throw a stone on a lump of cow patch and make it spread onto you. So if you sort of break it, it's going to sort of come onto you. So just concentrate on all this queer of arrows and things. It's a fantastic metaphor and simile and whatever.
Yeah.
You remember that Kannada, but I didn't want to say it in Kannada, but Copback was the best.
ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನದು ಅದು ಹ್ಮ್
More ಸಿಡಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಡ.
ಹ್ಮ್
This is the old Kannada.
अस्तु सम्यक् ध्यानाञ्जनेन समवेक्ष्य तमः प्रदेशम् भित्त्वा महाबलिभिरीश्वरनाममन्त्रैः दिव्याश्रितं भुजगभूषणमुद्वहन्ति ये पादपद्ममिह ते शिवते कृतार्थाः ध्यानाञ्जनेन समवेक्ष्य तमः प्रदेशम् भित्त्वा महाबलिभिरीश्वरनाममन्त्रैः दिव्याश्रितं भुजगभूषणमुद्वहन्ति ये पादपद्ममिह ते शिवते कृतार्थाः ये पादपद्मम् इह ते पादपद्मम् इह उद्वहन्ति ते कृतार्थाः those who carry your pada, your holy feet within themselves, they are kritarthaha, they are blessed, and they have achieved the purpose of life itself. This is the meaning, superficial meaning. Of course, we have already seen how pada padma is always a euphemism for the sahasrara, the final chakra of our body, which is the culmination of all spiritual progress, which is depicted as this energy which rises from the bottom of our spine, representing all lower forms of energy, to the very head, which represents the highest evolution possible. So that is the Pada Padma. Never lose sight of this euphemism. Okay. Anyhow, ध्यानाञ्जनेन समवेक्ष्य तमः प्रदेशं भित्त्वा महाबलिभिः ईश्वरनाममन्त्रैः भुजगभूषणं दिव्याश्रितं पादपद्मम् उद्वहन्ति ये ते कृतार्थाः. हे शिव, ध्यान अंजनेन, they put on their eyes what anjana means, that oil, that kajal that we apply into our eyes, that is the dhyana. They keep their eyes ever open is the overall meaning. So they put the dhyana, anjana of dhyana means they always are ever seeing. Their physical eyes may be shut, but their mind, their intellect, their wisdom has awakened to such an extent by just sheer uh, events and experiences of life, maybe, or because of dhyana that they have got through esoteric means. So either way, dhyana anjanena, they are always open and aware. Samavekshya, they're always looking, they're always perceiving. Samavekshya, and because of which tamaf pradesham bhitva, all the places in the world or within themselves which is clouded by darkness, tamaf pradesham bhitva, they cut through all such ignorance, they cut through all such confusions, they cut through all such uh, darkness, of either the mind or darkness in other people or darkness in the home, whatever the case is. All such regions are cut through by their very piercing intellectual wisdom eyes, and along with that, to accompany it, you need some people along with you, right? You need an army. So who are our army if we are still solo in the world? Ishvara nama mantraihi eva balibhihi. Ishvara's nama, that is whatever our paratattva is, whatever our supreme goal is, or for a bhakta who believes in a saguna form, Ishvara, actual Ishvara itself would his name and mantras itself would become the bhakta's sole army. Though he is physically a one-man army or one-woman army, they the mantras and the nama, that is all these thoughts of the mind itself will become each very powerful and imbue this person with a lot of strength. Mahabalibhihi. And then Divyashritam Bhujaga Bhushanam Padapadmam. Bhujaga Bhushanam means that which is the Bhushana, the ornament made by the Bhujaga. Bhujaga means snakes. Who has snakes as the ornament? That is Bhujaga Bhushana, which is Shiva. Divya Ashritam. This Pada Padma is Divya Ashritam, that which is sought by even Devas is called Divya Ashritam. The other meaning is that which is supported by the sky itself. We say there are two things, Dyava and Prithivi. We say Dyava means sky and Prithivi is earth. Even in Greek and other cultures, the word Deus means the morning or the sky, from which word became Zeus and then Zeus. And Zeus became Jupiter, Dyauf Pita, the father sky and the mother earth. This was a very popular motif across all cultures and religions, pre-Islamic, pre-Christian era. Now, so even in yoga, we say the body and the lower six chakras form the Prithvi, the mortal coil, whereas the Sahasrara belongs to the is separate. It belongs to the sky, Dyava, Divya. So that Pada Padma, which is Divya Ashritam, and which is Bhujaga Bhushanam, which is so we say the Kundalini itself as the serpent. So it becomes an ornament for the serpent, or the serpent becomes an ornament for the Pada Padma. So such a Pada Padma, they Udvahanti, they carry on their heads. Basically, this is the meaning. All in all, the key takeaway is one must be aware in the world, ever like an owl, day or night. It has big eyes. Of course, the physical eyes may be shut, but one must be always conscious and aware of oneself and others. Not out of panic, not out of paranoia, but aware just because that is our nature. Just as when we are driving, right? This is not the awareness of a newbie who is learning to drive or learning to uh, practice scooter or car. That is not such an awareness that we must build. That is an awareness which has come by fear. This person may crash into another car and he's not self-confident. That is not the awareness. The awareness that is very anxiety driven. It will cause cortisol and adrenaline increase in our body, which is very harmful in the long run as a chronic stress. But the awareness of a person, of a bike rider who is riding at a very high speed, right? He's so accustomed to driving it that when he is using it to drive at a very high speed, and because of which he is naturally very aware. He is enjoying the scenery around. He is definitely not going to fall asleep on such a scooter. That is the idea. So that is the dhyana that we must be aiming for. We are so aware that our body, our minds are running at 120 kilometer per hour. Our life is going at 120 kilometer per hour, and hence we have become supremely aware of our very next steps of what we talk, what we eat, what we who we interact with, and so on. Of course, this is all just an instructional. I think the two fellow Sathikas here have greater experience in life than me, so they have definitely ridden the scooter, the metaphorical scooter, for a greater while, so they are much more aware naturally. So,
Yeah, but it's very true. Experiences make you a better driver. That's what they say.
hmm, right. Absolutely. Okay, if there are any comments, please feel free to stop me in between. I will otherwise assume that things are understood. भूदारताम् उदवहत्यदपेक्षया श्री भूदार एव किमतः सुमते लभस्व खेदारमाकलितमुक्तिमहौषधीनाम् पादारविन्दभजनम् परमेश्वरस्य भूदारताम् उदवहत् यत् अपेक्षया श्रीभूदारः एव किम् अतः सुमते लभस्व केदारम् आकलितम् आकलितमुक्ति महौषधीनां पादारविंद भजनम परमेश्वरस्य. Okay, let's go slowly. भूदारताम् उदवहत् यद अपेक्षया. भूदारता is भूदारता. भूदारता. Bhu is earth. Dara means the spouse. Who is the Bhudara? Who is the spouse of earth? Do you know any avatara where earth particularly was became the spouse of a particular god? Anybody recollects?
No,
So if you have heard of the Dashavataras of
is it,
uh,
is it Bhudevi?
correct, Bhudevi. So who saved Bhudevi in a particular story from in the Puranas? Anybody recollects?
No.
So it is Varaha. It's Varaha Avatara when Vishnu comes as a boar, as a wild boar to kill, first of all, to majorly save Bhudevi because she was supposedly hidden in the ethereal dark waters. All of this is very metaphorical. One shouldn't be taking it very seriously or very literally. So then Varaha Avatara happens, and Vishnu comes in the form of Varaha, the wild boar, to uplift the earth and put it back in its place. So, the,
Anything to do with Kantara? The
yes,
movie?
yes, 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 absolutely. The Deva there, what is the name?
Guligas.
No,
Guliga?
Gulika is the lower one. I mean, it's the fierce one. The other person, but the one which dances usually, not the one towards the end which fights. The one who is
No.
dancing and benevolent. So that is the that is said to be an amsha of Varaha Swami. And that is why Varaha Avatara is primarily always associated with land. Even the entire movie of Kantara, which you rightly pointed out, is all about land dispute, right? The who does this particular piece of land belong to? Does it belong to the government? Does it belong to the villagers, the inhabitants, or does it belong to materially greedy people? You could say the private partners. So, is it a public property, a private property, or just an inhabited piece of land? So, that is a very central question of that entire Kantara movie. Is that correct?
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
but
So
I'm still trying to collect the other name,
uh,
but I can't remember offhand.
so that is Varaha. Vishnu himself. The other story is, I think we have discussed this often, that Shiva once became a pillar of Jyoti, of just beaming, a beacon of light itself. And there was a competition between Brahma and Vishnu to see who would reach the ends of this beam of light, and whoever reached it first and saw it then would be the better of the two gods. And Vishnu took the form of a boar, a wild boar, as Varaha, and started plunging down into the nether worlds to find the uh, tail of it. Whereas Brahma became a swan. He became a swan and flew above. Finally, neither of them reached, but Vishnu was intellectually honest enough to admit that he was not able to find, whereas Brahma lied and said he did find it when he actually had not. So uh, Shiva gets angry and he curses Brahma to to never be worthy of worship, whereas he blesses Vishnu to become equally worthy of worship as himself. That is the major arc uh, from the Linga Purana. Coming back,
The
so Vishnu,
other one is Panjurli.
Panjurli, yeah, right, Panjurli.
Panjurli.
Yeah, good point. So he becomes, you could think of it as being Panjurli, the wild boar, which goes down to find the end of the uh, beacon of light. So Udavahat yadapekshaya श्रीभूदार एव किमतः सुमते लभस्व. Hey Sumate, oh good mind. He's talking to himself and saying, oh good mind. So you see, he's being very kind to himself. We usually talk bad to ourselves. At least I have observed in myself that though in front of others we put on a very confident self, to ourselves very inherently we somehow bad talk ourselves. We say we have this subconscious idea that we are incapable, we are less capable, we are there are fears which are eating us alive, and these fears come from this bad talk we keep making with ourselves. But he is being very kind to himself, like a friend. He addresses himself and says, Sumate, oh good minded man, a good minded person, ataha labhasva, therefore seek to procure this Shiva, just as Vishnu went through all those lokas to find the feet, literally the feet of this lamp, of this linga. You also do so. Shri Bhudara is one who is the uh, Shri and Bhus Dara. The spouse of both Shri Devi and Bhu Devi is called Shri Bhudara Eva. Kimatah Kim Ataha Sumate Labhaswa. Did this boar, who is verily Vishnu himself, the pati of Bhu and Shri Devi, give up his uh, grandeur and glib personality? He was modest enough to take on the form of a boar, even to drill under the ground and try to reach the feet of Shiva. Meaning, if Vishnu himself was able to put his pride aside and do so, what about you, O good minded man? Why don't you also put your pride aside and search lovingly and longingly to that for that great truth? Kedaram akalita mukti mahaushadhinam, for people who uh, mahaushadhinam kedaram. So you start seeking Shiva, who is Kedara, who is like the, now Kedara is not literally the place, but Kedara means a field, an agricultural piece of land. It's called Kedara. Kedaram akalita mukti mahaushadhinam. So this Kedara, this piece of land which is Shiva, has grown so many mahaushadhis. These have grown great herbs and shrubs, which are all very medicinal To give what? What is the fruit that these crops are giving? They're yielding mukti. These mukti, that is liberation, freedom itself from both himself as well as from the world and from our own limited nature. That itself is mukti. And such a crop has been harvested on this land. Padaravinda bhajanam parameshwarasya, and Parameshwara, that is Shiva's Pada Aravinda Bhajanam. What is the way to get to this Kedara? It is through doing bhajana. And this here bhajana does not literally mean just sitting with chiming instruments and doing bhajana. Bhajana is to love, is to seek. To seek the Padara Vinda, the feet of Parameshwara itself is being able to harvest mukti from this field. Is the meaning clear? Avagatam Kim?
Yeah, a little bit complicated, I think. But at the end of the day, to take home is just freedom and it's moksha, mukti. That is the final goal.
Correct. Arundhati Arya, any
Yeah.
any insights?
No. Maybe I felt it is just
Hmm.
surrender yourself with this particular thing was not very clear. But I'm just trying to catch. This is my first day. I'm trying to just catch the meaning.
Right, right. No worries. So to quickly tell you
It,
a summary of this,
Hmm.
the Adi Shankaracharya, the poet here, is talking to his own mind
Hmm.
by saying that look at Vishnu, who, though being the pati of Shri and Bhu, was ready to take on a boar form to reach your feet, to reach Shiva's feet.
Okay.
Similar, uh, which is the sacred land, the crop field, which has
Hmm.
grown the crop of mukti, of liberation.
Hmm.
Hence, you, O mind, should also similar. This is the implied meaning. It is not directly told in the verse. The implied meaning is, O you Sumate, you good-minded person, should also similarly do and make all effort, even if it means searching the hells, to just as Vishnu did, to search the Netherlands and not Australia, Netherlands, but here Netherlands is to go to any extent, to any length, to sacrifice oneself, to put our pride aside and seek the ultimate freedom,
Oh.
mukti. That
Oh.
is the idea.
um, just one question arises for me here.
Yes.
What was the need for all these kind of thing to be composed in those days? Did they have same problem as we have had in the past? Is that the reason he's looking for mukti? So now we are in a racing world, rat
Hmm.
race.
Hmm.
So we want freedom. So we have got to concentrate on something to sort of get our own liberation. This is our present generation. But going back so many hundreds of years ago, where was the need for this person? Was he in a lot of trouble? Or has he seen the world as it has been now, but in a different um, proportion?
I think
If there was no such thing, such composition won't have arisen. If you take any literature, any novel you read, it will actually tell you what used to happen, contemporary happenings.
correct.
So, like Kanuru Supamahegadeti, if you take that, what used to happen between estate agents and their superiority and ownership and things like that. And if you take Thomas Hardy, what used to happen during Victorian era. So was there something really turbulent happening during Shankaracharya's time? Any idea?
This is actually a very fantastic question because it actually debunks much of the myths that we hear from extreme right or extreme left parts of the spectrum, which says everything was good back then, everything was, or either everything was bad back then, etc. So it's actually a much more nuanced reality. I can definitely answer from my perspective. I don't know the exact answer. Uh, I am thinking, yes, Jagat has always been, this world has always had its fair share of pleasures and pains in different forms. And so, this is a very serious question that if he, at his era and his times, is also seeking for mukti, and not just him, if you look at the Bhagavad Gita, also Krishna himself is saying, Ashashvatam dukkhalayam. This world is full of sorrow, it's full of dukkha, and it's uncertain. We don't know what is going to happen next. But our soul is built for wanting shashvatatva, for wanting certainty, for certitude, and for wanting amritatva, for wanting unchanging, unending bliss. And so this is a fundamental paradox because there is a world outside which is not going to allow us to express ourselves fully, our souls, I mean, and also our psychology and our psyche and human nature, of course. But more deeply, the soul's very craving itself is not allowed to be expressed in the world, and that is not just in Krishna's time, but even dating, prior to Rama or maybe even beyond to Sita, so sorry, Ramayana, and then the earliest even Rigveda itself also talks of all the troubles that the rishis used to face, all the women of the households used to face. Reading all this corpus of literature, one thing strikes clear that human, as long as there have been humans, there has been suffering. So this is one insight, at least I have had with my limited study.
Exactly, exactly. So world was there, and they went looking for nectar, and that nectar is yet to be found. And when are we going to find that nectar? Nobody knows.
Correct. True.
Uh, Nothing is new. Nothing is new, as long as you know the old stuff.
Correct.
So you get a kind of consolation. They suffered, we are also suffering, but maybe
Absolutely.
in
Exactly.
proportions different.
Mm.
And people used to be so uh, uh, short, impatient, cursing people, giving sharpers.
Mm.
So what did they say? It is same old wine in a new bottle. So
Correct.
we're in the new era, new world, where
Mm.
it's the same old troubles, same old samsara.
You hit the nail on this. Right.
Thank
Dhanyavad. आशापाशक्लेशदुर्वासनादि भेदोद्युक्तैर्दिव्यगन्धैरमन्दैः आशाशाटेकस्य पादारविन्दम् चेतः पेटीं वासितां मे तनोतु आशापाश क्लेश दुर्वासनादि भेद उद्युक्तैः दिव्यगन्धैः अमन्दैः आशाशाटीकस्य चेतः पेटीं वासितां पादारविन्दं मे तनोतु. May your padaravinda, may your divine feet, again it means the sahasrara, mama may chetaf petim, may my mind, which is a box, peti means a box, petike ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ, peti is a box, may my box of mind, may the small little box of mind which has lots of things inside, that's why we call it a box, May it be Vasita. May it be scented. May your Padaravinda, may the lotus feet of yours scent my box by putting all your little fragrant pollen onto my box, which is Asha Shati Kasya. I mean, at least I've seen in my own grandma's age and days, her entire beauty set was this little box. You both can also tell me if you also have had similar experiences. So there used to be a box that my granny used to carry, where she would keep her kumkuma, kajal, some powder, etc. And it would always be along with her sari. She would keep it on top of her uh, rich saris first, and then all the daily use ones. Sorry, then the guest ones, and then the daily use ones. In such an order, it was very peculiar. Anyway, so Asha Shatika. Shatika is sari. Asha. So there is a long fabric of Asha, of desire in me, which is the sari. May your Padaravinda also scent and perfume my sari. May your Padaravinda become the scent which is enfragning both my mind as well as the desires that I have. So look at this carefully. They are not saying, unlike in other Yoga Shastras and some Vedantic texts, to remove desire completely. It is not so. He is here in the text only lightly, gradually saying, put some fragrance on my desires. I'm going to still have my desires. I'm going to still have my ambitions, which is not wrong, but you just sent it. Put some gandha of yours in me. So that once in a while, when I'm transacting in the world, the sweet fragrance will be recognized by both me and others around me. Why? Because there is a certain durgandha which comes by keeping the box stale, as well as by keeping the dresses, right? Naturally so. What is that? That durgandha comes because of asha, pasha, klesha, durvasana, adi, bheda, udyuktaihi. So this shatika, my sari, and look at this. This is Shankaracharya, who is a male speaking. He has a sari. So you should never think that they were very misogynist in that sense. They were very free-minded. They would, I mean, cross-dressing was not even a taboo subject as it is so today. So anyway, he is talking that there is a sari I have. I have a chet of peti, and both of them, if kept to themselves, will become very mossy. They will become very pungent in their fragrance over the course of time. Because of what things? Because of asha, because of the nature of desires itself. Pasha, because of attachments. Klesha, because of my pains. It has become odored, badly odored. Durvasana, Adi, Bheda, and then Bheda Udyuktahi, because of discrimination. It could be both social discrimination or also emotional discrimination. Either we discriminate others or others discriminate us. Either we judge others or others judge us. Right? So all this Bheda Udyuktaihi, and Udyukta is to constantly put effort, to constantly be on guard, to have our walls up all the time, not being vulnerable because we are so scared of the world, which is actually true. We are. And therefore, he's complaining this Chetaf Peti, this box of mind, and the sari of my own ambitions have become Durvasana, Durgandha. Hence, please put your Padaravindas Divya Gandha, Amandaihi, and lots, put lots of it. If Because it's the only chance I'm getting to interact with you, O Shiva, just spray all the gandha that you can onto my clothes and my beauty box. Thus, meaning that Shiva's, that is the higher goals fragrance, meaning the higher goals, the thought of the higher goal of a greater goal will bring some sweetness in our lives, even if by mundanity we have been eroded time and again by experiences.
Yeah, here I feel,
Hmm.
you're having desires is no problem, and you have got to self live
Hmm.
without desires, without goal, any aim. You can't carry on with your life with your tamas guna. You can't sit in a chair and sleep all day.
Correct.
But my feeling is everything is okay as long as it is limited. And if you have this fragrance of the God's lotus feet, so it is like pulling your reins, have a rein. And when your desires and karmas and everything just goes beyond a certain limit, you should be able to sort of come back into the same path. Don't waver. Don't go beyond the expectation. So make your presence known in the form of fragrance and bring me back into my original path. That would be another way. I just want to sort of express myself. Make your
Absolutely
presence known.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Say like if you go to some of the shops, you have a cutout cardboard of a policeman
Hmm.
or somebody. And if your mind is thinking, oh, I'm just going to nick this, and you go into the shop, and if you're a real good person, worried about doing wrong things, you think, oh, that policeman is watching, and you turn around and look at it. It's only a cardboard cutout.
Hmm.
Is that I compare it to the fragrance to bring you
Wow.
back to the past. You would say, oh, no, people are watching me. I shouldn't do this.
Hmm.
Don't go beyond it.
Wonderful.
It's my modern interpretations of like,
Yes.
I mean, it's a fantastic poem or composition, I would say. Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes. Dhanyawad. Really great observation. And actually, this is required that one must use modern examples, contemporary examples to explain things better and put our insights forward, put our insights forth. Actually, this cardboard example was really very close to home because I've also seen and experienced this very thing in these shops. Yeah, very relatable. Okay, we can do one more and then we'll stop. कल्याणिनं सरसचित्रगतिं सवेगं सर्वेङ्गितज्ञमनघं ध्रुवलक्षणाढ्यम् चेतस्तुरङ्गमधिरुह्य चरस्मरारे नेतः समस्तजगतां वृषभाधिरूढ. हे वृषभाधिरूढ, you who sit on, you ride a bull as your mount. Let's look at the very popular depiction of Shiva on Nandi, right? So this is the Vrishabhadhi Rudha form. He's riding a bull, a white bull, very masculine. Hey Vrishabhadhi Rudha, hey Smarare, you who destroyed Kama by burning him with your third eye. Smara Ari. Ari is enemy. Smarari is one who killed, destroyed lust itself. Netaha, samasta jagatam netaha, you who are the leader of the entire world. Samasta jagatam netaha, you who are the leader. Chara, you go, you walk. Where? Chetaha turangam adhiruhya. So now you were sitting on a Nandi. No, get down and start taking my mind, which is itself the horse, because we always compare it runs as wild and as fast as the horse. So Chetas Turangam Adhiruhya, get down from your Vrishabha and hop on to my horse, the mind horse, and Chara, you walk. How must you walk? And how is this Turanga? This horse, it is Kalyaninam. It is very auspicious, very beautiful it is. Sarasa Chitragatim. Chitragati means it is wonderfully fast paced, very agile. Sarasa, it is ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಸರಸ ಸರಸವಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ವಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ something which is very fast. The other hidden meaning is that which is the mind, which is whose gati is sarasa. It is pulled by rasa. It's pulled by any smallest whiff of rasa. Rasa here means anand, of joy. Wherever the mind senses there is little bit of joy, it will start running towards it very quickly. Savegam, very impulsively. Sarva ingitajnam, and this mind of mine has become so sharp, so sensitive, and he's not judging it for it being sensitive. He's actually saying, he's praising it by saying it kalyaninam. It's very good that it is able to now pick up subtle cues, psychological cues from others and look at what their intentions are. Ingita jna means that who can understand others and all intentions. Sarva ingita jnam anagham. This horse is the mind is anagha. It is without uh, impurities now. I have cleaned, I have washed the turanga, I have washed my horse well, I've given it a very good bath. Dhruva lakshanadhyam. And if you have seen horses, they have this cover on their eyes. I don't know what it is called in English. Horse, let me just.
Now, for the birds, you say nictitating membrane.
Okay.
I don't know about the horse.
Okay. No, this is not biological. This is a human intervention. The blinker is called blinkers. Uh, so he's saying my mind is so focused. Dhruva lakshana. Lakshana means the goal. Dhruva lakshana means that which is always ever fixated on the goal. If you tell me to go here, I will definitely keep going there. Dhruva lakshana adhyam. This is my mind. So it is very useful. It's a very nice obedient horse for you, oh Shiva, right? Because you have tamed a wild beast such as the white oxen, the white bull. In fact, it is told that in the agricultural community, the farmers knew that they can somehow tame an ox, but they will never tame a bull. A bull is a different breed in itself. Oh, you, Shiva, who conquered desire, who can lead anybody in the world, and you who has tamed the wild white bull itself. So you should of course be able to tame even my mind, and so get on my horse and start taking it to some place. This is the overall literal meaning. So thereby he is implying that I have now readied my mind for a bigger goal, for a greater goal, which is Shiva in this case. So now he's inviting the greater goal to come, because all that is humanly possible is only to make ourselves worthy, to make ourselves better, to make ourselves uh, cleaner, not in sense of caste or something. Cleaner by I mean, like I said, all that which is waste to us is thrown away. There are some people, like for example, all of us, at least like me, who will still sit with a thing even if it is not useful to me, just because it is there. There is something called hoarding. I think it's very common. Pardon me, Shanta Arya. I've seen this depicted at least more commonly in the Western countries, where during Corona or such lockdowns, there was immense hoarding of toilet paper, and it was a big thing. So even if it is not useful, we just want to hoard wasteful things in our mind and wasteful things.
Right now, if you go to the shops, it's Christmas shopping, hoarding things, and Christmas is another 4 days to go, or 5 days to go.
Oh.
So the shelves are being emptied, basically.
Wow. Yeah, so we are actually getting there. We are also no less. So we hoard and we stuff things just because we want to feel good about it. And he is saying, I have not. So these are the small nicky bugs which sit on the top of a horse. It likes it. The horse usually likes these bugs because they relieve it of its itch. But it is actually very devastating in the long run for the horse itself because impregnated with a lot of diseases. So which is very bad for the horse. So similarly, we also do that. But he's saying, I have done anagha. I have cleaned the hearts, my mind, of all impurities and wasteful things, so that it is now ready. And having done all that he can, he is now uh, fervently seeking and giving an invitation, an open invitation to Shiva to come and reside in the mind. If you look at it from a lover and beloved perspective, right? That is actually really a good sign of love when all that is possible from one side. If you see the beloved is troubled, or the beloved is far away, or I don't mean literally only a romantic beloved. When I use the word beloved, I mean any lover beloved relationship. It could be a parent and the son, or a daughter, or it could be the daughter and son to the parent. It could be romantic partners, or it could be the husband and wife, or any two partners, whatever, same sex, different sex, whatever their preference is, or it could be the boss and the employer, whatever. So whoever is the lover, the best thing, if that person truly loves, right? Tell me if I'm wrong, since both of you are really wise in this matter, and more than me. So you can tell me if this observation is right, that in love, after a point, if it seems that there is no hope, all that is possible from the lover's side, they will do it. And then they'll just wait. They will not try to force the beloved to act in their ways, or they will not try to, uh, they'll definitely try to do all they can, and in fact, go to self effacing levels. But they will also understand that they should not interfere in the beloved's life. They should not force them, they should not control them to make them into a puppet of their love game. Is that something either or both of you have
Yes, it
seen?
is extremely true. We used to have a lecturer about 60 years ago, so like first thing she started anatomy, and she was saying, "Oh, love has got so many different meanings. Love doesn't mean a boy and a girl.
Mm,
We were all just sweet 16s in those days. We didn't know nothing about anything, sort of about life." And she said, God, love for God, love for teacher, love for your son, things like that. So don't misinterpret the word love in your brains. Be happy. You have come here to sort of learn something and be educated and then become good doctors. That was her advice. You
wow.
know,
Hmm.
the memories come back. And that's why you say, sometimes if you write letters, you can say my beloved friend, or my special friend, or my special teacher,
Hmm.
like that. Yeah, but it's very true what you have said.
Hmm.
The relationship could be between anybody. And
Correct.
I spoke to some little girl just on my way coming home from shopping, and she has got communication difficulties, and she was stood there, and her mother was waiting. This is a little kid about 8 or 9, I think. So I started talking, not realizing that I thought she was on strike, that she didn't want to go ahead with her mother. And then I realized that she was a little bit behinderte, that's what they say in German, a little bit backwards, so like, because her brain hadn't developed. But
Hmm.
she could recognize something vibe between ourselves, two of us. And the mother didn't interfere. And the girl was trying to show me she in sign language about the smile and things, and she wanted to go eating, and she started communicating. And mother was so surprised, saying, or she never communicates with anybody.
Oh.
And it's just one of those experiences. So that's how you recognize gods or recognize your teachers who are in the same vibe with you.
Mm.
Sometimes I go for some Zoom, Google Meets and things. No, I can't sort of relate myself to that, and I just come away.
Mm.
So the love is just the vibe between two people, frequencies. In other words, a magnetic field.
Correct.
There's so many elements in life. I
Absolutely.
don't know if I had just come away from the subject or
No, it's
what.
this is all.
It was just an experience of like
Mm. This is all much
communication
needed.
doesn't have any language. Yeah.
True. In like you absolutely wonderfully pointed out that how you described that it is at this moment I saw God, or it is at this moment I realized what love is, etc. In this even small incident of you meeting this little lady. Yeah, so these are small moments which I think are very memorable because these are times when our minds, at least we meet minds which are so afresh, so in naive, I wouldn't say in the bad sense, but so innocent of the world and so pure in its intention.
And this girl can't talk, just a few words.
Mm.
That's it. She doesn't talk.
Yeah.
Because part of her brain hasn't developed. And the mother was so surprised.
Wow. Mm. On this really great, touching, emotional note, let's stop our class. Any other points you would like to make, either of you?
No, this has been absolutely wonderful. So I didn't go looking for God. God has come to me. That's what I say.
Mm. True.
It's
Thank you.
fantastic. Thank you very much
Dhanya-
for all your efforts.
Dhanyawada for coming so regularly to our classes. Really, I'm inspired to keep doing this forward.
The only problem here is the time issues.
Mm.
If you do it at 10 o'clock, I'm still asleep when I get the note
Oh, okay,
through the
okay.
WhatsApp. So I may miss it. And sometimes I have 8 o'clock classes as well, the other Zoom lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So today just suited so nicely. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, thank you. Dhanyawadaha, namaskaraha. Arundhati Arya, namaskaraha.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful session. I really enjoyed it. Same thing is the timing for me. I hope I'll be able to join more of your classes. I really enjoyed it. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Looking forward to you also contributing to our classes, to our sessions.
Definitely.
Astu, namaskaraha. Shubharatri. Shubharatri.
Are you also abroad somewhere, America or Germany or India or
Myself,
mm,
I'm in Bangalore. I'm in Bangalore.
Bangalore? Okay, Bangalore.
Astu, namaskaraha. Shubharatri.
Namaskara.